Hello, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I'm glad that everybody can join me here and be here this lovely morning, even though on my end it's kind of snowy. But I bet in some places like Florida or California it's pretty sunshiny. Today I want to talk to you guys about a little bit more about me and my story and how I have become an influencer and a energetic coach. I am going to tell you how I've overcome pain, hurt, and it's just a life of it was almost a life of regret and just a lot of heartache, and become a very positive, energetic, loving person that loves myself, that's in tune with myself and the universe. It wasn't an easy task. It was a very hard struggle. I wasn't raised by my family. I raised myself. It was a very hard life, very much of a abusive life, most of my life, till I was about 21. I was mentally and physically abused, emotionally abused, and, like I said, physically abused. And I was even raped a few times by my mother. But, every day I had to work hard, to get up and go to school, face the day, ride the bus home, scared as heck, knots in my stomach, facing the kids that teased me because I walked a little funny because of the baseball bat that would be hit on my back, and the bruises I would have to lie, and just different things, having to, just the trials that I had to go through. I didn't have much of a childhood. Like I said, I had to grow up early. I ended up raising myself most of the time. And even Christmas and holidays, all my family did was fight. So like I said, every day I had to fight and struggle to be pretty positive. And there for a while, I was just pretty quiet, standoffish. I didn't talk to many people except for a few people. I didn't tell anybody what was going on. But I still pushed through. I never gave up. I always try to find the good in things. Like I said, it took a lifetime of doing this. Yeah, it really did. It took a lifetime of doing this. I got into relationships. I was in foster homes, and, they weren't so good. They were just as bad. I had found one that was good, in my high school years, and I stayed there for a while, and then it went downhill fast. So I took and, I said, you know what, I've already taken off in the system a few times. What's one more time gonna hurt? It's not gonna hurt. So, but little did I know, but it kind of did hurt me. And so I took off. I left school. Didn't know I could finish school, so I didn't ever finish school. And I took off. I started doing drugs. I started drinking real bad. Just different things. I was homeless, living on the street, and, I wanted to go back to the foster home that I was in, but, it just didn't work out to go back, so she wouldn't take me back, which I really didn't want to go back anyways. But, it took me, a long time to face and realize that I loved myself, that I was worthy, that I deserved better. And, like I said, I was in relationships, thinking that, that's what I needed to pacify my feelings, that I didn't want to be alone, that I couldn't be alone, that I had to have somebody to love me, because I never really ever had anybody that loved me. And, they just would rape me They would abuse me. They would physically and mentally abuse me. You know, and then I found God. I found God. I love God. I always had God since I was a child. You know, I had just lost him for a while. I went to church on my own when I was living with my mother. But, you know, I even tried to forgive her and go back to her a few times, you know, before I actually turned of age. But you know, that's just another story. She had never changed. And she is now gone, passed away and deceased. But, you know, some people, it just will never change. I know she probably meant well. I know she probably did love me. You know, but it took me forever to even try to forgive her, put an effort in to forgive her. But, you know, I was 21. I ended up having my first son. You know, it took me a while. I was so happy. I was like, yay. But I knew I was still in a bad situation. You know, it took me a while to get out of that situation. And then finally, you know, he was like 2 or 3 years old. I went away for 1.5 years, you know, to try to do something for myself. I come back, you know, I got rid of my ex. And, you know, I did find happiness. You know, it was slow going in the new relationship that I had found. He is now my husband. And we've been together a long time, like, see here, almost 15, 20 years. So, you know, because he had emotional dealings that he had to deal with. So it was pretty rough going for a while. You know, but when I lived in South Dakota, I would always go in the hills. I was always driving the hills. You know, even though I was probably smoking pot, I was smoking pot, drinking and stuff, but I always found peace when I went up in the hills. The nature, I have always loved nature more than I loved the big cities. And I always found peace in it. You know, going to the lakes, going to the rivers, going fishing, taking a walk, taking a hike. I have always found joy in nature. You know, like I said, I kept having to accept changes. I kept having to accept who I was, what I was about. You know, what I went through made me a stronger and better person. You know, I don't think, you know, before I used to think I would change a bunch of stuff. But now I know that I would never change anything that happened. Even though my nursing degree career that I was taking in high school and the convalescent home that I was working for, you know, I had a job set up ready there. But when I took off in the foster home, from the group home, I kind of washed all that down the drain. And not knowing that I could finish school. But, you know, I had other chances, you know, and I didn't have to pay for school and they was going to train me. But I had my son, you know, so I didn't get that chance. Even though I lost chances to do what I wanted to do, I found other ways of doing what I wanted to do that makes me happy, which is, you know, helping people, being there for people, taking care of people. Even in my relationships, my kids and my husband always come first. I always do a lot more for them than I do for myself. I'm a giver. And I love animals. I always have loved animals. I've taken care of animals, rescued them. Yeah, I've always had a farm of different animals. It's just, you gotta love yourself. You gotta learn to grow with the changes. You gotta learn how to stay positive. Change your mindset. Change it, you know, to better positive thoughts instead of thinking negative thoughts about yourself, about others. Because all you're doing when you do that, you're tearing yourself down and others down. But when you actually have positive about others and you're praying for others and you're just rooting for them, you know, yay, go, you can do this. You know, it actually puts a better perspective on them and their attitude. It makes them, you know, gives them a sense, well, I can do this. I am better. People that I am, like, being mean to, you know, being bullied to, are actually cheering me on, saying I can do it, I can change, I can be a better person. So, even in the hardest trials, always find the positive and cheer them on and pray and think, say, I pray for this person. I want better for this person, cheer them on. Just try to still be there for them. And, that's just some situations. There's a lot of different situations. Everybody's different, but like, everybody has their own way of doing things. It's just the bottom line is, you got to love yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to change your mindset in order. First and bottom line, you have to change your mindset. If you want to be positive and get positive and have a better life, you have to let go of the negative. You have to forgive. You have to let go and get out of your one-way self, which is what would have been me. I was in my way. And I had to get out of my way, my own self way, just so I can have a better future for me, my family, and my kids. Because not only do I have my daughter and my son, I lost one son. He was shot and murdered just last year. And I had to go through a trial. And then the killer just got off scot-free, so what justice is in that? But even in that, I have to try to find positive. But for my daughter, she's 16, gonna be 17. She's a beautiful little girl, and I want to teach her the right ways. I always have. My husband's got kids, and so I got kids through him, and they're all grown up, and they go through their trials. And we always try to be there for them as best as we can, being positive. Being there for them no matter what they are doing wrong. Things that are very much could kill them, putting themselves in harm's way all the time. But, I just really love people. I really love reaching out and being there for people and helping people and teaching them the ways that can better themselves, be better for them, for their mind, spiritual, body, mind, and soul. Like I said, once we get in tune with ourselves, we can be in tune with the universe, and everything's good. Like a sunset. We watch a sunset. It gives us a good feeling, don't it? And it's so bright, so warm, so beautiful. The colors that it portrays. That gives us a cheery, disposition on ourselves. And it makes us smile. That's being in tune with nature, with the universe. The stars, we always try to shoot for the stars. We always like to look at them and try to find the shooting star. That's being in tune with the universe. Just having a happy-go-lucky atmosphere, demeanor about ourselves. I would love to have the chance to coach you, to try to reach out to you and help you in whatever way I can. Even if it's just a simple conversation. Even if you don't take and buy my course. Just having a conversation with you, just listening to you. If you needed to cry, I'd let you cry. Because it's better to let out your emotions than to hold them in. I do thank everybody for listening to me and who is following me. Thank you for following me. I do hope to reach a lot of people. Doing videos like this is not easy for me. It's actually getting a lot easier now because I've done 3-4 of these, but getting out of your comfort zone, see, it's an everyday thing. Even though when you are positive, it's still an everyday, trial, trying to overcome all your little battles. But I do appreciate it, and have a very good weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.